So there's recently a lot of interesting things happening with Reddit. Is it enough to end it? Honestly, I'm gonna say I don't really think so. It's too big of a platform, but this is definitely enough to make people start to talk about it.
Good evening, everyone. It's with a heavy heart that I have to deliver some tragic news that I'm sure you've already seen and have probably spent the better part of your afternoon crying about. Reddit is currently down. The narwhal is not baconing today, my friends.
Good. I'm gonna be real. I hate Reddit. Reddit is just a giant echo chamber of people who already have an established opinion, who are not gonna let anything change their minds, most likely, and thus they will just live in a tower of delusion. A very secluded tower that they can completely control, but a tower of delusion.
This is not a wholesome Chungus moment. Reddit is offline, and there's good reason for it. Many of you probably saw over the last week or so that there was an organized protest with most of the subreddits on the platform about API changes, and maybe there's...
He's probably not gonna mention it, so I will. That protest is by people who moderate Reddit for free on their spare time just for a power trip. And by the way, they are so self-important in their own opinions that this protest is not going to be indefinite or whatever. It has literally a start date and it has an end date. Yeah, they're not. They don't. They because their mod duties are way too important for this. Okay, they can't stop modding because Reddit's doing bad things. No. Their mod duties are way too important, which is the most hilarious thing ever. They're not even getting paid.
Too much mumbo-jumbo, scary, frightening big words and acronyms that you didn't even bother to look into. So that's what I'm going to do here is break down the situation on why there was a Reddit strike in the first place and what the future could hold for all the Reddit mods that are now stranded without a home to go back to or a
power trip.
Place, a domain to rule over.
Yeah.
Now, I joke about the situation, but Reddit is legitimately one of the top 10 most visited sites in the world, so the fact that it's down right now due to this strike is actually really impressive. Like, it's genuinely surprising
it's also sad that that's seriously Reddit.
How much the community came together in order to protest the Reddit changes. So, what sparked this Armageddon, this doomsday for Redditors? It was a change to how Reddit was going to be conducting business. They did their best EA impression here and got very greedy. So they decided they were going to start charging for API access, and they were charging a fucking fat load of barnacles for it too. API access allows things like third-party apps to exist. It needs the API access to function, and Reddit was going to begin charging for that access. So the biggest one is called Apollo, and it helps users read Reddit threads. It's something many power users were familiar with, but something I didn't know about until recently.
No idea what this is.
And according to the developer of Apollo, it would cost nearly $20 million annually under this new pricing model, which is a ton of pickles. That's far beyond the realm of possibility for...
Annually, by the way, means yearly, pretty much.
Pretty much any third-party developer, so effectively... Reddit was killing third-party apps because nobody could afford to pay the API fee for their...
Now, my question is, does Reddit get anything out of a third-party app using their stuff for free? Probably not. Again, I'm a person who understands business, but tech is a little bit different. There you need to actually understand how tech works. But my perspective from this as a business analyst is... Well, if you can shut down all these third-party people who are using third-party software that doesn't make people actually go to your website, aka reduces how much its perceived worth is to advertisers, well, if we could shut that down, that would be amazing for Reddit. And keep in mind, Reddit's not going anywhere. It is literally the biggest place for things of that nature. So... it doesn't have to worry about pissing people off. That's the brutal reality of it.
Services anymore. And it didn't just affect third-party apps, it also affected mod tools, as I understand it as well. So this new pricing scheme, fresh out of the brain of Mr. Krabs, shaking everyone down for their lunch money, had a large set of consequences that effectively shut off a lot of what people were used to. And it wasn't something that the community was thrilled about. This was
This also doesn't affect like 99.9999999% of Reddit users, by the way, as much as I understand it.
not a policy change that was getting a lot of updates. So the community, as well as a lot of the biggest subreddit mods, as well as just the biggest subreddits in general, came together and decided that they were going to do a strike, a Reddit blackout, where they're going to be taking their subreddits private, meaning you can't access them anymore, basically just shutting them down temporarily. And that's led to our current situation. There was even a live stream tracking how many subreddits were going offline, and it's still going right now. And
Wow,
you can see
that's a lot.
it's a lot. I also tuned into the stream a little bit last night, and I bore witness to one of the saddest things I've ever laid my eyes upon.
A Reddit mod in real life? That would be probably like vomit inducing.
Breaking news, r/tits went down.
Oh,
That'll
yeah,
finally put the
understandable.
pressure on the Reddit admins to overturn their decision here. No more r/tits. Jesus Christ, it's getting serious. And it's
True.
only continued to get more serious. We're in the end game now. Not only is r/tits banished to the Shadow Realm in protest, r/tinytits has also vanished. So if that doesn't put the
Nice.
screws on the Reddit admins to overturn this greedy policy, I just don't know what will. Now, I genuinely do think that this strike has been remarkably successful. This is a legitimate "we did it, Reddit" moment. The site isn't working because so many subreddits have gone offline.
Can't Reddit honestly just ban them? I'm pretty sure Reddit at any moment can actually just take over those subreddits and let them rip if they want. Admittedly, they're probably also smart enough to know if they actually do that, and you know they forcefully open all of those subreddits and ban all the mods or whatever, that's gonna create problems for the subreddits because people will start to post wild stuff.
It's not like Reddit themselves, like the upper echelon of the Reddit Illuminati came in and just shut it down or something and as their form of protest. This is the site not working because so many communities are all going private at once, it seems. When you just try and go on the site's front page, it doesn't generate anything for you, it just kind of says there's a problem. But if you directly go to one of the subreddits that isn't participating in the protest, it will work. Mudahar just made a video covering this, and he went to r/sinkpissers, and they were still online. That was 3 hours ago, and I just tried it again. And these brave patriots pissing in sinks are still here operating just fine on the platform.
Nice.
So it's not like Reddit itself is down, it's just so many subreddits have gone private that the website doesn't seem to know what to generate on the front page anymore. But
Yeah, that actually would make sense, because most likely Reddit's front page is just, you know, the most popular subreddits, and that's kind of it, right? Because they can't risk that being natural. There's no way Reddit's front page is natural. It's like YouTube's trending. It's completely fake.
But if you go to a specific subreddit that isn't participating, it still functions. So, like, if you really love sink pissing, then you can go there and consume that content
Nice.
with no problem at all. This is actually a really interesting situation because Reddit is a legitimate top 10 most visited website in the world. It is a platform that everyone accesses at some point, and I make jokes about Reddit a lot and Redditors in particular, but that's not because I think the platform sucks or anything. I think it
But it does.
actually does have legitimate use from time to time. I think most of the subreddits are dog shit, like most of the default subs and all of that are just absolute worthlessness. But there are certain communities that are just dedicated to providing information in specific areas that have proven time and time again for myself and many friends to actually be a very good resource to learn things and figure out how to fix problems. Like, you get the information without all of the bloat of looking it up on an article. It's just the best way of sometimes getting quick fixes to problems. So I really do think Reddit as a platform does provide a good service from time to time,
Huh.
though the water does get muddy
Sounds like something that ChatGPT will overtake in that case.
with how awful a lot of the other subs are. But overall, I don't think it's like the worst website ever. That title still belongs comfortably to either Twitter or Facebook. Pick your poison. So to see that this strike is actually like effectively shutting down Reddit for most people is very impressive.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like he's gonna talk about it. But strikes like this do nothing. Because Reddit can 100% just remove those mods. And what, do you think new mods are not gonna appear? If Reddit itself just, you know, says, hey, we're looking for new mods for these subreddits, they would find them in a heartbeat. You know, all these people that are saying, yeah, let's protest and blah, 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 they would instantaneously tuck their tail between their legs and run and beg to not get demodded. Because every mod on Reddit is pretty much just a mod because of a power trip. And there's a lot of people who want power trips. And as much as I understand, you know, there's a lot of modding tools that come into play with these API things and whatnot. And that doesn't matter. You ban those mod tools, so there would be people who would legitimately, 100%, without question, this is like fact before it happens, I can guarantee you this was going to be the outcome. If these modding tools are gone, and you know, current mods don't want to do their free, again, free labor part, 24 hours, 24/7, by the way, free labor. You know, if they don't want to do it, there's going to be literally people who band together and pay for whatever prices need to pay for their own server hosting, so, you know, they can be people are gonna willingly pay to be Reddit mods. I can guarantee you that. There are people who want that power trip so badly, they will program their own modding tools. They will pay for servers, they will pay for APIs, they will do anything to be a admin, to be a mod on Reddit. I can guarantee you. So even if all the current mods leave, which most of them will not obviously do ever, because you need to be a special kind of stupid to be a Reddit mod in the first place, because that means you're doing work for free.
And I think it's a good thing overall, because I never support when a company gets greedy like this, so I think standing up against it is great. And Reddit is a platform that legitimately can't exist without the Reddit mods and the subreddits and all of that.
Who do everything for free.
Driven. All of the content on that platform is user generated. So if the users never flip back on the subreddits, you lose all of the content, thus there's no reason to ever go to Reddit ever again.
Well, yeah, but again, the point is, these problems are not actually going to affect the users. Base users are not affected by this thing at all. Like, literally at all. The average Reddit user could not care less about these expenses being thrown into, you know, some random third-party website's direction. They simply do not care.
If they just pack up and go elsewhere like a mass exodus. This is like fucking rapture for Redditors here at this point. Like, it is a pretty big deal. Now, I do think this entire Reddit blackout, all the protests here, have kind of shot themselves in the foot, because they made it clear for a lot of the big subreddits that are offline right now that they were only doing it for 48 hours. Which I think was a huge fucking blunder. You just gave up scholars, mate, right there. That doesn't really put a ton of pressure on the Reddit higher up anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have given them...
Yeah, because these Reddit mods think their job is so important. Again, a job that they are not being paid for. They're doing it freely. Dude, these people are so delusional that they are gonna only do this for 48 hours because otherwise they can't do their jobs. Reddit could literally ask these people to pay like $1,000 a month to be mods. And, you know, probably 2 out of 10 people would agree to that, no problems. It's insanity. People on Reddit are insane.
An end date. You have told them when it stops. So they can just grit their teeth and bear it. Just endure for 2 days and then it's business as usual. Just 2 days of fucking holding on tight like it's a goddamn roller coaster, and then you're back into clear skies. They shouldn't have said that they're only going offline for 2 days. I just don't think that puts enough pressure on them to actually get rid of the pricing model here for the API. Because they only have 2 days of their service being offline. I mean, that shit happens all the time in MMOs just for normal maintenance when things fuck up, right? Like, it's not going to all of a sudden change the way they're viewing their business model. I know some subreddits are going offline indefinitely, but a lot of the ones that I've read are doing 48 hours. And I think the reason that they made it known that it's a 48-hour protest is so that...
Because the mods don't want to risk getting banned. They enjoy their free work so much. That's probably not even a joke.
Where the community members didn't like think that it was dead forever. They didn't want them to feel like now they no longer have that community to go to for information.
Yeah, because what's the point of a power trip if you can't ban someone, I mean, right?
So I think it was just trying to keep them updated with what's going on. But in doing so, I think it was a bit of a misstep for the overall strike. Because, like I said, with only a 48-hour offline period, Reddit, I don't think, is going to overturn this decision. Because they'll just get away with it after 2 days. But I would quickly like to toy around with the idea that this does end up killing Reddit as a website entirely. It ceases to exist.
Nah.
That would be, I think, the biggest collapse of a service ever. Like, I was talking about this on stream, but the one that immediately popped in my head was MySpace, when MySpace ultimately failed. And then Tumblr, which I actually just totally forgot about. But Tumblr was another...
I actually saw a video where Tumblr failed. As much as I understand it, you know, Tumblr was literally used because you could, you know, it was mainly used for not safe for work things. It got popular because of it, and then one day Tumblr's like, no more that, get out. And that's it, they collapsed because 99% of Tumblr was literally not safe for work things. There you go.
Like top 10 website that killed itself when it banned porn. That pretty much buried it on the spot when they implemented that new policy. I know it still is.
I actually didn't remember that it's porn. Was it actually porn? I thought it's like, you know, drawings. Specifically drawings. Not pictures, but drawings.
Is around. It's just not even close to how popular it used to be. But with Reddit, this could be a legitimate, like, dead site. If the community doesn't come back, if they don't all unprivate their subreddits, if they go elsewhere or something.
One of the reasons why I think this is also never happening is because you know what can be done? Just new subreddits instead of the old ones can be created. Isn't that a thing that can be done? Easily, you know, just, you know, there's like this r/flowers. Well, now you have a new r/flowers. The same premise, the same rules, the same everything, but it's the new one. There you go. Problem solved. Continue on if nothing happened. Kind of simple, huh?
Then that website can't exist anymore because it is legitimately only user-generated content. You lose the users, you lose the whole site. And I remember reading last night, as well as I'd always heard this before, that only like the top 5 Reddit mods control like a large portion of the top subreddits. So all of your subreddits, for the most part, that people go to, your default subs, your huge players, are controlled by like the same 5 people. If you piss them off and they all just leave and take the subreddits offline with them, they alone have...
This makes it so much easier for Reddit, though. If it's actually like 5 people controlling everything, which honestly sounds quite possible if you think about it a little bit. And again, I don't even know Reddit, but, you know, I kind of understand a little bit about it. It sounds possible, but if this is possible, well, the people who actually own Reddit know about this, which means they can just, well, replace them. Seems simple enough.
Have dealt a very deep...
Also, by the way, if you think this... there's a chance that this current situation ends as a nothing. A giant nothing. Nothing really happens, nothing really changes. But, I already know what's going to happen. It's going to start happening slowly, but sooner or later it's going to trickle in. Reddit is going to start doing things, start upgrading its features from their own side to make it so that, you know, people actually don't have power over their platform. You know, if need arises, if need be, that Reddit can literally just completely take over a subreddit at a snap of their fingers. You know, everyone's gone, blah, 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 and it's like nothing ever happened. I think that is a possibility. It's not a possibility. That's something that Reddit will now seriously consider, because most likely they never considered a thing like this even possible.
Blow to Reddit itself. So that is pretty crazy, just how much power the people have on Reddit in terms of like this protest and its impact on the site as a whole. So overall, I just find this whole thing
Crazy,
very
huh?
fascinating, and I am hoping for the best outcome here. I hope that the community wins here and Reddit won't charge this crazy exorbitant fee for API access, because there's nothing wrong with having third.
Also, by the way, if that fee is unbelievably crazy, then it's most likely true what I said at the start, that they're just trying to get rid of third-party, you know, Reddits or whatever you want to call them. So all the traffic is directed in their direction, because otherwise they're just losing out at ad revenue and things like that. It seems like they can't now, which, by the way, means if this is starting, and even if I'm not correct about this, this means that serious changes are coming to Reddit, most likely.
Third-party apps, right? I think most people would agree. In a lot of cases, third-party apps are much better than the official one. I don't use the official Reddit app, but from everything I understand, it's a pile of shit compared to the other options available from third-party developers. So, yeah, I just wanted to.
Well, Reddit can literally just steal how their work code looks, so it's not really a problem. Well, anyway, that's it. Interesting situation. Anyway, this was Cruiser Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.